What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 132 of the Ridge Hunter Outdoors podcast. You might notice that the sound's a little different today. You might not. I don't know. In my headphones, it does sound a little bit different, but we're in our new studio officially, and the reason it sounds a little different is because it's not finished yet. We'd taken apart the old one. We're moving into the new one. We're still working on getting it all finished out, and we got to put a ceiling on it, and a roof and a ceiling, and we're going to put some stuff in here. We got to get a TV in here, all that kind of stuff. So all that said, it's probably going to sound a little different. If it doesn't, then great. You can just ignore all of that. We're really excited about our guest this week. Either way, his name's Teague. He hunts for Midwest Whitetail. You guys may have seen him. You may not, but he's a really solid dude. He knows his stuff. We got into a lot of different topics. Of course, talked about how he got started in hunting, different stuff in the archery world, how that's changed over the last 30-plus years. We talked a lot about filming your hunts, and which kind of goes along with our last Full Draw Friday, so I thought that was interesting. But talked a lot about what he does, what he likes to do as far as filming hunts goes, some of his favorite stuff from over the years, what it's like working with those guys at Midwest Whitetail. We got into a lot of different things. So it was a great conversation. He was able to make it in the studio this week, so we were glad to have him. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it too. So here is episode number 132 of the Ridge Hunter Outdoors podcast. This is the Ridge Hunter Outdoors podcast.
You got Jim wearing headphones?
He won't. He'll wear, they'll plug it in the Apple iPad, whatever they're called, the earbuds. Mm-hmm. He'll put one in. And I'm like, dude, that's defeating the whole purpose of being able to hear the audio.
So do you run a lav mic also, or just a mic on the camera? You run a mic on you?
Yeah, I got the Rode Filmmaker kit.
Okay.
I've had it for like 4 or 5 years. I think they got a new one out. It's a smaller one. Mm-hmm. It's like a complete wireless. Mine still has the wires. You got to wear it on your waistband and then run it up to your coat and stuff.
Right, and that's running straight to his camera as you're recording?
Right.
Okay, yeah, so he's hearing both of it.
I got my NTG one, and then I got the wireless mics going on that. So.
Gotcha.
He doesn't like to do it whenever... I mean, I wear them when I'm filming myself just because I want to hear the... I mean, I want to hear that. He doesn't care about all that stuff, so it's kind of weird. So more lazy than anything.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
We don't wear headphones. Of course, we don't have the lav mics either yet, so...
I got to pick up that term, lav mic. Wireless mic.
Yes, wireless
I've
mic.
had headphones in my camera case forever. And I wore them some, but then I guess I keep losing focus that I'm just the cameraman, I'm not the hunter, and I want to be able to hear everything, Yeah,
if you got the earphones on, you can hear you can hear it a lot better.
You can, but I have no idea where it's coming from.
You know what's coming through on the camera, though.
True.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, if you're wearing a wireless mic, he can hear you talking.
That's the whole concept. I'm trying to get rid of this wire here. So.
Oh, you're fine. Here, go ahead and fix it if you need to. I'll mute it that way they can't hear it.
I'm very animated.
It's fine. So am I most of the time. I don't know. I've thought about, Nate, going to those and using those, but it's one more thing I got to edit. One more thing I got to add into it.
It would be perfect to catch your bowstring on and shoot that thing into orbit,
Which would definitely happen to us.
Or not have it turned on. Or the battery's dead. Kind
of like a GoPro hanging there on your bow hanger, ready to go, that doesn't get turned on.
It's right here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or one that's literally on the end of your shotgun.
Yeah.
That doesn't get turned on.
Yeah.
It happens. I've heard.
Well, I'm not smart enough. I know a lot of those kids out there today, or you're a kid too. I mean, younger guy, but a lot of guys can control it all from their phone. The
GoPros, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't figure out. I got a Hero 9. I can't figure out how to actually get smart enough and skilled enough to deer, without moving. And then I'm just like, I'm done.
I can do mine from I have the ability to do that, but I just like reaching up and hitting that red button, and then I know it's going.
And then
Blake tries to use his phone a little bit, or maybe he's going to.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
that's when you click it over to camera, right? When you think you're hitting the video and you hit.
Yeah, and then it goes to take a picture.
You like panic.
Yes. So do you guys film with a camcorder or you guys DSLR?
I got an HDR FX7. This is what I first started out with, was the old Mini DV, which is a long time, but now I run the PXW X70, which is a camcorder. I don't know really enough about the mirrorless and the those kind of cameras and stuff. I don't really. I'd like to, a lot lighter.
Yeah, and you're doing some self-filming?
Yeah.
They're also, I think, incredibly harder to self-film with.
It's very hard. Like
focusing and zooming, and like you can't do it one-handed.
Yeah, don't ever put it on autofocus. Always have it on manual focus. Yeah, you can. Really
we have an autofocus story.
Yeah, you were involved in it. You might as well tell it to him.
No, that one I killed last year. That 8-point I shot with my bow. Blake, my neighbor, my buddy, he was videoing, and I mean, we never ever ran autofocus. Canyon doesn't want anybody to run autofocus. Blake was running autofocus that day. It's whatever. And I mean, it was good. Deer's coming in. It was kind of thick. He's staying on him well. You know, this thing is getting ready to come into my farthest lane. This is Blake's spot too. He's already bucked out. This is like November 5th, I think. Blake's already bucked out. That buck's walking through there, and Blake says, "I know what deer that is as a shooter." I was like, all right. So I just started focusing on aiming. He got right where I thought he was going to come out into a lane, so I draw and get anchored, and he stopped. I mean, his head was sticking into the clearing. And I sat there, and I was like, my gosh, it's been 5 minutes. You know, it was actually like 40 seconds.
45, I think.
Because Canyon put a timer on there.
Takes forever.
Yeah. He put a timer on the screen so you could see how long I was sitting there full draw. And finally that thing walks out, takes 2 steps, and I stopped him. And then, because like I was anchored at full draw, but down here.
Then you lost it.
I came up on him and aimed, and right when I got settled in, it just autofocus grabs my shoulder in the corner of the frame, you know. So it just, I mean, perfect focus on my Sitka jacket right there.
Maybe a half second before you shot.
You hear the bow go off, and you see a green, just completely blurry green knock fly through the screen. You hear it hit. You can see the deer spin, you know, and take off. You can tell that I hit him. And Blake goes, "Dude, dang it." And as soon as he said that, I'm like, holy cow, where did I hit it? I thought it looked decent. Yeah. But that's all I hear him say, "Dude, dang it." And I'm like, what did I just do? Like, this is his spot. He knows that deer. Where did I just hit him?
At 45 yards.
At least he said, "Dude, dang it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely would.
On camera, it's not good to say anything else other than that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been way worse. But so I've watched that back a ton of times because I think it's hilarious. But also, I can't figure out why he didn't zoom in farther on the thing and he would have been past your shoulder anyway.
Yes. He was kind of loose.
Was he kind of feeling what you were feeling, being at full draw himself, or he was just frozen as well? Cause
yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
He got on the spot where he thought the deer was going to come out, and then it was like, that was it.
Right.
Because and it was probably, so
he was self-filming.
Yeah, basically.
He was hunting through him. Yeah, he was self-filming. Yeah.
Yeah. Secondarily self-filming.
Been there, done that.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy.
Yep. But it's a whole new ballgame. I mean, this was
that his first deer he'd ever videoed getting shot?
Unless you guys had shot one. Because he went with me, and we didn't see much of anything when we were together. What's the first deer you've ever filmed been shot? Let's go back a little bit.
Goodness gracious.
And was it in black and white?
No. Yeah, good one.
Nate was already talking about back in the day.
My first deer on video, I don't really remember the exact year, but I hear about it every single year at the holidays because I'll show you guys the video sometime. It's on DVD at home. We got stacks of videos. And I said, "Oh, looky there. It's a little doe when it fell in a little ditch." And that was on camera. That was the most, I mean, I was just kind of dumbfounded that I actually shot one on camera finally, but it was a little yearling doe. I mean, actually a little first year fawn.
Yeah.
And that was probably 2003, maybe 2003 or so, 2004, somewhere in that.
Was that about when you started filming, or were you filming for a while before that?
A buddy of mine was an X-ray tech at Memorial in Carbondale. Probably in '96 or so. I got the big over-the-shoulder camera that was just really stupid. It was a VHS. It was my wife's grandmother. Husband gave it to me, and I was like, I'm taking it hunting.
Like you put the actual VHS tape in the camera.
You guys were too young to remember those, but they were
full-size VHS.
Full-size VHS.
Yeah.
Full-size VHS. I think I got some old, film that what do you take when you take it to Walmart, developed it back in the day. I got pictures of that camera, and we did it maybe twice, and that was a epic fail. We were in, yeah, it was crazy. And we had climbers that we were in 2 different trees. It was like so stupid, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. That's
right.
what, it got me kind of hooked on it. And then my buddy Jim, we kind of hooked up through a mutual friend, and then lost contact of each other from the early 90s. And then I saw him at the hospital in probably 2002. And then he was heavy into videoing, and I was like, let's do it. So we've been doing it ever since.
Cool.
So.
Me and a buddy of mine tried to do some filming. We were in the same tree, but both in climbers, and it was on a little bit later than that. It was some kind of Sony. I don't even remember the model, but it took the smaller VHS tapes that you put in, and then you had the adapter to put them in the TV, and then you could roll them onto a regular VHS tape for that. Yeah, so
that's really what I started with. I mean, I started with that. Right. That was an epic fail, but then it probably, like I said, 5 years later, we had the HDR FX7, which is a mini DV, and I got still shoe boxes full of old videos and stuff that I have never taken off the tape and put on DVD, but most of them a lot of them have been edited out, so they're pretty good.
Right. Yeah. So. Cool. That's cool. So let's go back a little farther then, because Nate was asking me before. We normally start with first-time guests about where or who got started you in hunting, and what did you start on? Because we've had everybody from squirrels with grandpa to hunting bear for their first animal as kids. So who got you into hunting, and then what did you start hunting on?
I want to say really no one in particular got me into hunting. I grew up on a farm, and I had a little bit of a hothead as a youngster, and so I wasn't able to have a gun that could really do some serious damage. I mean, the old school, they're like, you're going to kill somebody with that or what have you.
Right.
So it was just basically a BB gun, shooting starlings, putting dog food out outside the pole barn, shooting starlings and stuff like that. And then living on a farm in Virginia, I saw not deer all the time, because it was late 70s, early 80s when I was 10, 11 years old, because I was born in 70, and going out there and feeding the hogs and doing whatever, and then deer blowing. I had no idea what a deer blowing was. It scared the heck out of me. And then, once you see the first buck running away with these antlers, that was kind of, in my opinion, really where it first started. I got kind of hooked, and I just never was allowed to deer hunt until I was in my late teens, because just a lot of family stuff, just stuff that happened.
Sure.
So, and I really started, really focusing on, I was a deer hunter before I was a deer hunter. Does that make sense? It's kind of weird. I was obsessed with Fur Fish Game, Field and Stream, and all those magazines, but I never was able to go. And then when I was finally old enough to make my own decisions and actually go, that's when it just took off.
Yeah.
Just went crazy.
Did you start gun hunting? Did you start bow hunting at that time, or was there a little bit of a progression?
My stepdad had a little 22 Remington. I want to say it was an old model 700, like a, bolt action. And I started rabbit hunting and squirrel hunting, stuff like that, when he would go to work, because he worked as a farmer and also in coal mines. And when he was gone, I'd go sneak it out of the barn and go out, in the woods plinking around. But I always wanted to bow hunt, but I never, didn't have the means to do it and stuff like that. So my first deer was, I think, it was early 90s is really when I killed my first deer, and it was a doe, and it was a gun, with a gun. But I already had I started bow hunting a little bit. Having a bow and saying I was a bow hunter.
Being in the stand.
Mentally, I was, no. I was a bow hunter because I had a bow.
Yeah.
And I was, I wanted to do that. So that's where I got myself going.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember what type of bow you had?
Yeah, it was an Indian bow. Yeah. It was actually said Indian. And later in life, a few years later, I realized, I think that, I'm not certain, so don't quote me on this, but I think it had Indian on the limbs. It was a wooden riser with, some laminated glass limbs, but it said Indian on it. And later I found out that my first really, good compound was the XI Legacy, and I bought that in 94, 93, 94, something like that. And then I figured out that Indian archery was XI and all that stuff. So
yeah. I've probably seen one way back in the day. My dad had a shop that closed in 2004. So I have some memories of it being open. So I do remember Indian archery a little bit, but obviously never shot one.
There was a big...
What, the bow or the Indian?
Either one. Our partners at Flambeau Outdoors have some of the best solutions in the industry for your decoy and storage needs. They're focused on innovation that matters, and they build their products to last. They're probably most known for their whitetail, waterfowl, and turkey decoys, and that's for good reason. They've got a lot of quality options at great price points in each category. The Boss Buck is a personal favorite of mine in their whitetail line, and I've been throwing their Stormfront mallards in front of duck blinds for years now. Don't sleep on their storage solutions either, though. Whether it's fishing tackle, firearms, ammo, or archery equipment, they've got you covered. They just stepped up their archery storage game, too, with the new Formula bow case. It might just be the best bow case on the market, and I'm really excited to use it this season and for years to come. Make the most of your time outdoors with Flambeau. Realism that gets results. That I know of.
There was a big shop right here. His dad had a big shop. I forgot to tell you that earlier. His dad had a big bow shop.
Actually, yeah, this building, where we're sitting, was one of the ranges. I think the screen was on this side and the targets were on that side. They had the old Techno Hunt screen, right? But they had one in Mount Vernon as well, where the big church is now.
St. Mary's Church?
Yeah, the big Catholic church.
Very close to
by the Hardys.
The appellate courthouse.
Is that in Wayne City?
Town, in Mount Vernon.
Oh, in Mount Vernon.
Yeah. You probably don't get that way much if you're just getting.
Yeah, I go to Mount Vernon quite often.
Yeah, but I mean, you're probably around the interstate a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and I
so
have to go to the hospital and then go eat at the local Chinese place and then go home.
Yeah. There's a big church that's where their other shop used to be now, but yeah, they had one in Mount Vernon and one over here.
Okay.
Back in those days, but
well, I thought as I was coming into town, this whole stretch here coming in reminded me of Mount Carmel. Mm-hmm. And when you're going into Mount Carmel, you come up on the tracks and there was a bow shop on the right hand side. At first, I had to kind of like mentally go, "Am I going to that shop?" You know?
Yeah. I think it's still there, right? Is the bow shop still there?
I haven't been to Mount Carmel in a long time yet.
There's one in Mount Carmel or Carmi. I always mix the two up, but.
Your dad had one of the biggest bow tech?
He was the biggest bow tech dealer in Illinois at the time.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s. I don't know. But they started in 89. They ran it to 2000. I think they closed this one in like 2002 or 3, and they closed the one in Mount Vernon. They sold the one in Mount Vernon in 2004. A guy had a little bit after that, and then they closed down. But
did Ren Lake Archery take over? Kind of like the local.
They were. Yeah, I mean, they were there at the time, and they are still there. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a story on some of the bow shop stuff. I'll tell you afterwards. So I'll keep it off air. Nothing to do with that, of course. But there's a guy. I mean, there's all kinds of old bow shop stories we could get into. But what was your first? You say your first like good compound bow was the
XI Legacy.
The XI Legacy. Yeah. Okay. So we're talking like.
If I'd have known that XI was going to come out with the Legend Magnum, it was the Miles Killer edition, I would have probably got that one.
Yeah.
But the XI Legacy was the first machined aluminum riser bow, you know, back in the day. And Miles Keller, the magnesium riser, machined aluminum, it was like, it was a couple $100. I mean, it was like $100 difference. So I was like, I went with the machined aluminum.
Yeah.
But later, little did I know that I would become a big, fan of Miles Keller later on. I was like, gosh, I could have got that bow with his,
right.
But
you still have it? Did you get rid of it?
I sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really, I could probably get it back. I sold it to one of the general surgeons that worked at the hospital that I worked at. And I know for a fact that he still got it. And I've often thought like, can I, buy it back? I think I sold to him for like $250, back in the day. It all set up, with the overdraw that would take your wrist off if you wasn't paying attention. We were just talking about that the other day, weren't we?
Yes.
It's crazy. You can't even set a bow up for $250 anymore.
I know.
Like the stuff you put on it.
My Spot Hog costs more than $200. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the sight.
Just the sight alone.
I know. It's crazy.
What kind of Spot Hog you think he's got?
An expensive one.
Fast Eddie. What else would
it's my namesake. It's my namesake.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like,
I forgot that was even Spot Hog, to be honest with you.
He's like, they put my name on that one.
Mm-hmm. They knew they could get you.
Yeah. Well, I shot the HHA for a long time.
Did you?
I got the Kingpin XL, and I like it. I mean, I still like it, and I'm not sold on the Spot Hog is really good sight, but I'm just not sold on which one is functionally better than the other one.
Right.
Have you messed with your second pin any yet?
On my second axis? No, I have not. I have not. The thing that
the extra pin, I suppose.
I don't want to get into a diatribe. The thing is on the micro adjustment left to right. On the Spot Hog, you can do your gross adjustment really well. You can take the whole housing off, or the little gap sensor, or whatever you call it, and you can move it, left to get it more in the center of your shelf. But I didn't have to do any of that stuff with the HHA. It's like it can move really far, and the micro adjust was really, really, really stout. And on the Spot Hog, when you loosen up the little lever, it's like
Just,
you're riding a bicycle over railroad tracks. It's like really weird. It's just kind of a weird feel to it, and I really haven't gotten used to that yet.
Yeah.
So
cool. So there was really kind of a big jump, I guess, back in the 90s. You started to see a lot better bows coming out, mid-90s, starting to get into the early 2000s. Like, that was when the big jump was happening in technology, right?
That's when the Matthews Featherlight, I think it was back in like 92, Matthews came out with their first disoldal cam bow. It had the old, in the ad, it had the balloon holding the bow up and one balloon lifting it up. It was so light. And I switched to Matthews. I shot that bow for probably 3 years, killed my first deer with a bow with it, the XI meaning. And then a friend of mine, I don't know if you guys remember, like all these little finance places that pop up everywhere, like American Generals and stuff like that. They got in a lot of bow shops, they would always have, that was their way to finance a bow.
Right.
And back in the day, and a friend of mine just called me up out of the blue. I mean, she was older, but I was friends with her nephew.
Okay.
And she called me up and was like, hey, I got this. She was an American General manager or something and said, I got this bow that somebody didn't pay for. And I'm like, I didn't know what it was. And I went in and looked at it, and it was a brand new Matthew Soligam, the Featherlight. And I was like, that's when I sold my XI to the doctor, and I got the money, to do that. I had 2 young kids at the time, and I was like, I got to have this. And I was a Matthews guy for, till probably 2012.
Okay.
And I probably had the lion's share of their line, from the MQ32 and the Q2XL and all that stuff back in the day.
Mm-hmm. The SQ2s and the...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what was their real
DXT?
It was a Z7.
Z7.
Yep.
Extreme or something was one of their real light ones. One of their first really light ones.
Yeah, it was the one with the newer limb dampeners in the riser. It was the Z7 was my first bow that I actually really fell in love with. It was kind of weird how the riser was kind of first generation, how it was checkerboarded out, and it was really cut out to make it a lot lighter. It was a really nice bow.
Yeah,
I like that.
So
bow.
2012, he told me you were shooting Hoyt, I guess now? Is that when you switched over to Hoyt?
Mm-hmm.
So you've had probably several of those in the past 12 years then?
Yeah, I can't remember all the names of them, but yeah, I've pretty much had... Do
you remember the first one? Would that have been around like Carbon Spider, or was that...
It was the year before the Carbon Spider. It was the... I really can't think of... I mean, I could see the bow, but it was the Carbon Spider. I did not have the Carbon... It might have been the same year as the Carbon Spider, but it was the aluminum version.
Okay.
And then the next year, I sold it, and then I was just... Every year, then I got the Factor. Gosh, then I went to the... I don't know what it was. The first Carbon one, the blah, blah, blah. Then they started calling it the RX-1. I got the RX-1, the RX... They skipped RX-2, I think. I had the RX-3.
Okay.
And the RX-4, RX-5. Now I got the RX-7.
The 7?
Yeah.
Cool. You like it?
Yeah.
So we'll go back to you filming. When did you start? Why did you start just because it was fun? You did it kind of more as a hobby, or were you had an eye on doing it for somebody? Were you doing it for somebody at the beginning?
No, we were just doing it because my wife has never, we've been married for 34 years now. And she's never went shed. Well, she's went shed hunting with me a few times, but she's never turkey hunted with me. She's never deer hunted. She's never once went out there. And I was like, this would be a way for me to, kind of bring it to where she can actually see it and me be embarrassed by hearing my own voice on TV. And then she's like, you're so weird. And I'm like, but it is, I'm weird. And I mean, I like that. And she's like, so then, whenever you can, edit out a whole, almost 45 minutes to an hour of nothing but hunts, and this being me and my buddies too, but still she's like getting to see us in a whole different, light than just being, me at home and stuff like that. And
she gets to sit at home on the couch in the heat and watch it. She doesn't have to go out there and freeze to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was kind of the reason we started filming too, I guess, was just because it was something fun to do and you can go back and watch it. But when did that turn into something for you? Like, when did you start to think maybe you could film for somebody, or was that ever a thought?
For a while.
In the beginning?
For a while, but then it was just, my kids were still at a certain age to where it was like it wasn't feasible for me to go and spend $3,000 at a time.
Right.
For a camera, because my X70 that I got, that was not cheap. That's a very expensive camera. Then you got the shotgun mic, you got this, you got the lav mics. I mean, you got all this stuff you got to put into it. And then, the warranties and 4K upgrade if you wanted to do that, and then get a GoPro and get this and get that. So it was kind of slow played, but we just did it on the mini DVs. And my buddy, he was the guru behind that. Would take them all home, download them to the computer, and actually put the music to it. Oh, it was cool. Put the music to it and do that stuff. And once we did a few, and a lot of my buddies would come over and see it, they're like, this is pretty good. You know, why don't you guys do something? And I was like, oh, we can't do that. It's not going to turn out to nothing. And then I would say probably 2000. I got it on emails. I'm not going to look for them now somewhere. Probably 2013. That's when I was just at home on my iPad doing work, you know, looking at some surgical technique or something like that. And I saw this thing. It's kind of a cliche, but it was Midwest Whitetail. You know, it's one of the first streaming, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And Bill Winke and some of the other guys had just started it like the year before, maybe 2 years before. And it was really kind of generic. And then I was like, our stuff's pretty good, you know, but I'm not Bill. So, I mean, he's a great guy. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. So then it was if you went online, I can't really remember exactly if you went online and looked at the Midwest Whitetail and started watching their videos, it would be like there was a contact us tab or something or rather like that. And so that's where it started. And I was telling my buddy, I said, dude, we got to make a small sample and send it to Bill, because it was not, you know, you couldn't transfer it like on WeTransfer or, you know, whatever have you.
Right. Oh, you're good.
Sorry. You can edit that out. Right?
You're good. You're good.
And so, back to your point, we did I was trying to get him to a small sample size, and just kind of being lazy, you know, that just life gets in the way because he owns a Subway and does all this stuff. Didn't have time to do it. And then, but I emailed Bill, and Bill was like, send me some stuff. And I sent it to him, was going to send it to him. And then Bill emails me back and says, I still haven't received any of your video. And I was like, if Bill Winke's going to take the time out of his day to email me back saying, I haven't received your stuff yet. So yeah, it's some of the worst hunting, I guess, if you will. It's on YouTube. It's Eddie Teague deer hunting. Yeah. There's 2 videos. I told Jim, I called him, I said, dude, I don't care what you do. You need to put something on YouTube tonight. I mean, YouTube was starting to really get kind of big.
Yeah, that was fairly early in that game still.
Yeah, and he put those 2 hunts, was my 2 hunts, on a lease that I had outside of Carbondale the year before, and sent it to. And I told Bill, and I was kind of like, that was a big ask. It was like he was wanting video that he can see and download or look at, and I was like, dude, go to Eddie Teague deer hunting. Really, it's kind of the way it was. I was like, you know, I'm sorry. I'll send this whole, I mean, I got all the emails. It's kind of cool to go back and look at all of them. In this diatribe of like, hey, please don't just kick me to the curb. Please look at it.
Right.
And I don't remember exactly what day of the week it was, but it was really weird. I was at the hospital in Carbondale doing work, you know, for my work life. And I get an email, and it's from Aaron Warburton. And then he's one of the guys on Hunting Public and stuff. Yeah. And he was an intern
at the time,
but he was probably more than an intern. He was probably his second or third. He was probably in his 3rd year starting. And he sent me this email, called him back. We had a long conversation, and that's where it started. Yeah. And we've been around for a long time, and then got to know Bill pretty well, and just some of the other guys. And then, you know, Aaron and those guys left there, but you know, Zach Farrenball and all those guys. He was really young, really getting into it. And that's kind of where it started. And that's how it got started.
Cool.
I mean, Bill did it for us, looked at it. I was like, wow, this is crazy, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. He took the time to email you back and say like, hey, I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, okay, I guess I got to do something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in what I've heard is obviously in those days, those guys were all like Warbs and Zach and them. They were doing public land stuff for Midwest, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard Bill talk on, I don't remember, I think it was on a podcast he was on. He kind of had it in mind that those guys would take it over when he was ready to be out of it. And then that's
went a different direction,
close to the time where they went and did their own thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's some, I mean, I don't want to speak for those guys, but there was some stuff that, you know, nothing bad.
Right.
But they wanted to go this way and wanted to go that way, and some things happened. And then I think that was around the time really that Realtree was a sponsor of ours.
Realtree 365 or something was part of the production, right?
That came in like the next year.
Okay.
Like the next year. I mean, Realtree was always our sponsor.
Right.
You know, like, you know, whatever have you, where there's Realtree clothes and stuff like that. And I always already wore Realtree anyway. And I just don't like Mossy Oak. Personal opinion. Right. But it is what it is. And then the next year we all went to the big meeting in Iowa, and that was where at the golf course, and we met all the Realtree guys walking around. And it's like, that's when it kind of Realtree became a major, sponsor, I guess. I mean, I'm not in all the ins and outs about it, but they became a major sponsor, and then things kind of changing, with your social media handles and stuff like that, having us all do all these things and stuff like that but yeah, that's kind of that's all I know about that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd only heard him talk a little bit about it, and he kind of said similar stuff. Like, it wasn't hard feelings. They just wanted to do something different. They went and did something different. And then, the show ended up going a different direction anyway. Jared became a bigger part of it after that, right? Now he's off doing his own thing.
Yeah. That was a surprise to me. A really big surprise, because Jared, when after the Realtree thing, and then we brought in some other guys, gosh, I forgot his name, up in Iowa. Everybody knows him now.
Mike?
No, yeah, Mike. I know Mike real well. But he's a land manager up in Iowa. Gosh darn it, I just can't think of his name right now. He'd be mad at me if I was on the phone with him talking. I can't.
Yeah.
Because I always called him for land management questions, and because he had a nursery and he did all kinds of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And gosh darn it, I can't think of his name.
He's on the show?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. So there was some guys that came up from Alabama, and kind of like I wanted to say maybe a management team, kind of getting it to go in the right in a different direction, and that's when things kind of changed. And Jared kind of moved up to the leadership role, and then I think Jared and then they spin off, and it was 41 North Media.
Yeah,
they split off and did all that stuff, and that was all owned by Mike and Jared and stuff like that. So,
do they still own 41 North together? Or were they in that together?
They were in it together to begin with, and that's all. I don't really know, how all that played out, but I know that Mike still is in it really deep, with 41 North and stuff. And I want to say that Jared might be, because I know that he still does a lot of production for other small companies and stuff trying to get started. That he does a lot of stuff like that, but I'm not sure if it's through 41 North. I'm not sure, and I would hate to say whether it is or not, because people hear you say one thing and then they're like, oh,
he said this. Yeah, exactly.
Nope, every one of those guys are great.
Yeah,
every one of those guys are great.
Yeah, we've met a few of them, and they all seem like great guys. We met Bill at ATA, got to talk to him for a few minutes. Bill. Ethan Stubbs, the one that hunts with Bill now, he was on the show.
Yeah,
talk to him when we see him at shows. He's a cool kid.
He seems like he's got it together.
Yeah,
like he's really got it together.
Yeah, it's quite the contrast though, because he's like all of 5'6", and then there's Bill.
Bill's
like
giant.
6'5".
Bill's a lot bigger than people think. People think Bill just stands with his hand on his hip, but he really does stand with his hand on his hip.
Yeah,
but
he's also 6'5".
He's 6'5".
Yeah,
and very, very smart.
Yeah,
very smart.
I kind of got that. I didn't talk to him very long, but I've listened to him on a lot of stuff too. So,
it's pretty cool.
It seemed like in those years you're talking about, like when they first started, whether they knew it or not, they were really ahead of the curve on where things were headed.
Way ahead. We were one of the first TV shows to ever leave, I think it was leave the Outdoor Channel, in that heartland spot, if you will, and move to streaming TV. And it was and then everybody was like, well, it's never going to go. It's going to fail. Then what really kicked it off and sent it to the next stratosphere was Chasing November. That's really, in my opinion, what really kind of, because everybody knew Midwest Whitetail, but nobody knew, you didn't really, it was not a Waddell or something like that,
Right.
But once Chasing November took on.
Which I guess so Midwest Whitetail was always kind of like the semi-live thing, right? Mm-hmm. And the daily videos and the stuff like that. And then Chasing November, did he just want something that was a little more produced?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So and then that took that role, right?
Yeah, and Jared did it. Jared did it. Well, I don't want to misspeak. I think the first year that Chasing November, I can't remember exactly who the lead producer was on that, but I know Jared played a big role in it, and now Josh Sparks does it. But Josh Sparks and there's some other guys that do it. I just I can't think of all their names right now.
If you guys plant food plots and you don't know who Grandpa Ray Outdoors is, you need to look him up. They specialize in providing the best nutrition for whitetail deer on your property, starting with the soil. They've got a full line of high-quality food plot seed and plant foods. With over 14 different food plot blends to choose from, you won't have any trouble finding what you're looking for. They've got fall and spring blends, corn and beans, switchgrass, liquid fertilizer, soil test kits, you name it. When it comes to planting, they've got it. They're not just about selling their products, though. They were started in 2015. John, the owner, has been in the business since 1991. So with that knowledge that he's acquired, he's going to be able to answer any questions you have about what blends would be best for your specific property. That way you can achieve the best results possible. Like us, John and his team don't believe in a cookie-cutter approach to wildlife nutrition. They're going to treat you and your situation individually. We've used tons of their seed on client properties, on our own properties, and the results have always been as good, if not better, than advertised. That's why we partnered with them in the first place. If you want to, go to GrandpaRayOutdoors.com, use the discount code RHO Podcast. That's all lowercase, no space, and you get 5% off your entire order there. You guys need to go check them out if you care about getting the most bang for your buck when it comes to your food plots. They went to the, what we were talking about, they went to the more produced side of it.
Right. It was basically what Chasing November was just an extrapolation of all the hunts over the year. Mm-hmm. And then somebody really sat down and really made it into a cinematic, to a movie. And that's what he did. And then, because we all saw the weekly shows. If you watch the weekly shows, there's different ones. There's Great Plains, there's Heartland, there's, Eastern, there's whatever have you, and the Southern guys. And then each one of us has a producer. So we just send it up to Josh, or, Gavin Katurba is our one now. Just send it up to him on the files transfer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they take it and edit it for the weekly show, which is kind of a broken down, not a broken down version, but just kind of like, we're just kind of hanging out here, it's like, this is the hunt.
Here it is.
Kind of here it is. And then once they do all that, then it's taken back in and really refined and turned into a really, really good program.
Yeah. Which takes time, which is why it comes out the next year, like a lot of traditional shows, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They did it different this year. I haven't been on the last couple of years. Of course, you got to kill a big buck. Not really. You got to have a really good encounter.
For sure.
But it's just so hard every year to get a good buck. And then if you do kill one, like the one I shot last year was, maybe 140, but still yet he came in so fast. It's like, it's like, and next thing you know, it's over.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
It's a great hunt, but doesn't make great TV.
It was a fantastic hunt. And if I would have done it right, it would have been great. Mm-hmm. But, things happen and stuff like that.
Because you were self-filming and everything on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was so shooken up because, everybody gets, ground expansion, they see it coming in, and then and the way he came in, he dropped down this creek and came up to me. So, when he's coming up out, I'm like, he was dead. He was a dead man. He was dead deer walking. And he was going so slow, but he was going so fast that I didn't have time to stop him, but he was just moving in slow motion that I just shot, pinwheeled him.
Yeah.
But it was like, it happened so fast. And I'm like, did that just happen? Mm-hmm. Anyway, we got off topic there.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's kind of what happened to Blake on his big deer last year. It was the same thing. He was self-filming. The deer came out in the food plot. He was watching does on the other side. The buck comes out, I guess, on his left.
Yeah.
Comes out on his left into the food plot. It's windier than I'll get out, so we didn't hear him coming.
Yeah.
That kind of a trot. So
that was your hunt or your buddy's hunt?
That was Blake's hunt. November 3rd, I think it was.
Yep.
That was a Friday afternoon.
70 degrees, and the wind was blowing like 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was ugly. An ugly day to be in a tree.
For you or the deer?
For everybody involved.
It's always an ugly day when we're in the tree.
But yeah, Blake, he got off work in time to go that afternoon. And he's like, it's November 3rd. I'm going to go.
You got to. Yeah.
So he got off work in time to go. He had been going in super early to go in and make all his deliveries and then get back out there to hunt.
I thought you were going to say he goes in really early to hunt.
No, this was afternoon.
That's where I thought he was going with it too, actually.
I did too. I was like, okay.
He got his work day done, and he was starting at least 1 week of vacation right there. But Friday afternoon hunt, he went out there. He was watching does. He probably had a mile of open field for that wind to blow at and hit him, from his west. That wind could scream across there, and he's sitting on the edge right there. But anyway, this thing came out of a brushy draw. He heard him crashing, and he looked up, and he saw the deer come in the food plot, and he's like, holy crap, that's him. He grabbed his bow, and that thing had already seen the does across the field, and it was running at him. And I think he had to bleat really, really loud to get the thing to stop. Mm-hmm. He stopped. It was like 35. He had his pin set on 25, didn't have a chance to move it. He held high, smoked him.
Oh, really?
The thing ran over there to those does. And then
I'm actually fairly impressed that he shot the thing and got the camera turned on and got the deer falling down on video.
Really?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he heard crashing and he saw the thing just coming out of the brush in the food plot, trotting across the food plot. Did not have time to get the camera on it. He made the shot, but then got on him, and I don't know, it's probably 100 to 150 yards across that field. And yeah, he got on him.
He didn't know he was hit.
He just took off running at them does, and then got over there, kind of done a little flip thing. And
chicken, as Pat Reeves used to say.
Yeah,
did the chicken.
But yeah, Blake got him.
Yeah, similar. It sounds similar to what you were talking about. Is what I was going with. That is just like awesome hunt. It happens like that. But if you're self filming, like you either kill the deer or you get it on video and he walks off, or like very small chance you get it both done.
Yeah, rarely does it ever happen perfectly. I mean, it's like he was saying about your buddy. You know, if you're self filming and you hear crashing coming. And next thing you know, they're right there, you know, they're 40 yards in closing. And then the most panic moment you're going to do is realizing that you were just doing cutaways and you're zoomed in so far, you don't even know where you're at.
Yep.
Your peaking is way off and you can't even, you don't know whether to draw the bow or grab the camera, do this. You got to have two hands to do your stuff. I mean, in reality, and then you do it. And then next thing you know, they bust out of there, that you spook them or most of the time what you do is say, heck with it. I'm just going to shoot the deer.
Yep.
You know, and then go with it. I mean, whether it's a doe or a buck, it doesn't matter, you know.
You're a hunter first, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. I appreciate that mindset for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even if I was paid to do it, I mean, that would change things. Then it would be work. You know, I wouldn't want to do that. So.
Yeah. It can definitely become that, I think. And it probably does for some people. And we were talking about Bill. I think I've watched a ton of his stuff and listened to a lot of podcasts he's been on just from listening to him talk. I think it probably got that way for him. And then that little break he took.
It was.
And now he came back and does his own stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can tell, like he just...
It is.
It took a year or two off.
It's kind of nice that, you know, his daughter Jordan is in it with him too. You know, that's really good. Cool. Yeah. I mean, he's got a son, but I don't know if he hunts at all.
Yeah.
I think there for a while he had a few videos of where he hunted, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. And it's a little different format too. It's cool to just see him. Yeah. A little relaxed, you know. They do a good job with it, but...
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the hardest part about filming is taking all your gear in, and people don't understand it. And all my buddies laugh at me. I'm sure you guys have got it too. They laugh at you and they're like, "Oh, you got all this gear, you got that gear. When you're never going to kill a deer, blah 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 blah." And then you kill a deer, and it's on good video, and you kill one, and they still kind of poke at you. You know, it's like just because they're not dedicated enough to go do it. I mean, there's times where, I mean, I look like an idiot. You know, camera bag over my shoulder trying to carry a decoy. I got this. I got a pruning. I mean, I got bow in one hand, pruners here. If I had to go to a tree, I haven't been into a while. Yeah. And it's like you're sweating your butt off walking across the field. And literally, I feel like leaving the camera in the middle of the field and just going to the stand.
Maybe I'll get it on the way back. Maybe I won't.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I've been there. I mean,
we try to have a very, as minimal setup as we can get good quality out of, which is easier these days than when you started. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, it's still tough.
It's still a lot of, I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And that's why I stopped with the buddy I was doing it with in the first place, because it just got to be such a hassle to do.
And I think I might have told you or had a couple of conversations, you know, and Jim's one of my best friends, but he is he's a killing machine. He's a really good hunter. He's killed a lot bigger bucks than what I have, but he is kind of a creature of habit. Sometimes, you know, he doesn't want to get out there as early as I do, you know, so it's like, it is what it is. And it's like, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just go by myself. But because if I want to get out there early and he gets at the house at, you know, 1:30 or whatever have you, and I wanted to be in the stand by 1:30, it's just like, I'm already in a kind of in a tizzy already. I'm like
already in a bad mood.
Yeah. So, but it's, for the most part, I mean, 99% of the time it's really good. But other than that, there's been a few instances where I'm like, gosh, dang it. And then you get out there and you're busting deer out.
Makes it
That's
even worse.
Really when you get in a tizzy.
Yep. Yep. We've had a little bit of experience with this, and even outside of filming, it seems to have gone this way for me, is when I forget my release and I got to walk back to the truck, or like...
Keep two.
Oh, I do now. So, but like last year, actually that November 3rd, I forgot the plate that goes onto my camera when I was self-filming, so I had to rig something up. Almost worked out that night, but the day I shot my buck last year, we forgot the camera arm in the truck, and he filmed it.
That's right. Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of times or like the day Blake killed his is 70 degrees. So many times it's the day that you think it's never going to happen, or like something went wrong and it screwed up, and then that's the day.
It's always that way.
Yeah.
Not always, but it's that way more often than not. You know why? Because your guard's down.
Yeah.
You're not expecting it, so you're out there just like kind of mad at the world because it's so hot.
Why am I even here?
Look at that big old buck over there.
Right. Yeah. Well, big old buck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Same with a turkey hen.
The day I killed the 6x5, I forgot the camera arm or something. Like, I think it was in Blake's shop or something. Like, I don't know. I was dumb. You know, second gun season. I went out there. I'm like, it's probably going to be.
That's right. With your cell phone? Was that the video?
Yeah. I'm sitting there watching the field. I saw 10 bucks that morning, 3.5 and older. You know, like every buck in the country was there. I was like, this is just stupid. I'm sitting up here. I have the camera in the bag.
So I asked Blake while we were at the show this weekend, why didn't you film that stuff with the camera?
So I should have, but
Cutaways.
I have seen. I'll only say it like this: I have seen a camera fall out of a tree before.
I've dropped a camera out of a tree before. Sure.
I will not say any more than that. There's one person that if they would listen to this would know exactly what I'm talking about. He lives in a different county now, but he used to live right here real close.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway.
Is that the guy on the Keen and Peele episode? Balake?
Yeah, Balake.
But yeah, one of the first times I ever videoed this other guy, he's like, I got my uncle's camera. It's going to be okay. You know, we'll video. And I was like, you get this thing on this tripod. I've never even held a camera before, but I'll video you. You know, he puts it on there and he's like, you're good to go. And like, I was trying to video a squirrel or something. And all of a sudden that thing just falls off there. And it took, I swear it took like 30 seconds to get 20 feet.
Like
to the
fell
ground.
off the camp and fell on the ground?
Yeah. We're in climbers and he liked to go high. We're probably 20 foot. Anyway, that thing just tumbles. It looks like a football falling, just tumbling. Then hits the ground and he goes, oh no. And I was like, I take very little responsibility for this because you assured me that it was fixed to that head properly.
How did it fall off?
It was not attached. It was not.
Oh,
it was not locked in.
Gosh.
It was not locked in. Those slider plates.
That's what I got. Yeah.
The really old ones did not have the safety latch for it to slide forward and catch.
Okay.
They just slide straight through. You had to run the Allen screw down on the side, to tighten it in there. So like, it's fine if you just sit there, but if once you tilt it, it just wants to slide out the front.
Bad news
like
right
dropping
there.
a torpedo, I
That's bad.
suppose. But yeah. Anyway, that's what happened. I've dropped a camera before, and I did not want to drop a camera again.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. The one I dropped, we were climbing, and I had it. It was the one that took the little VHS tapes. And I had it in like a pocket on my hoodie or like a hand warmer or something because it would just barely fit in there, right? Not even all the way. So I was going up first because I was filming, and my buddy was coming up behind me, and I'd got set, so he was on his way up the tree, and I was turning around, and it fell the rest of the way out of my pocket, and it hit the handrail or the shooting rail on his climber on the way down and bounced up and did some more flips and landed on the ground. Fortunately, there was like some decently thick weeds at the bottom of the tree.
No damage?
Landed right on the side. I was like...
Got lucky.
Yeah, it still worked.
So how many times have you been in a tree and you're just jacking around with your camera and you don't tighten down the little nut on the side? Next thing you look around, you see your camera doing that and it goes... Yeah, you think it's going to fall in. It's like, it's exactly right.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yep, I've done that.
It's terrible.
And these new, do you run a fourth arrow? What kind of camera are you guys?
I brought my camera on so you can see it. It's a homemade one, yeah.
Oh, you told me about that.
It's probably my last year with that one. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's just too heavy.
Yeah, I got you.
And I'm tired lugging around and it's just too noisy and...
It's aluminum. You had the guy weld aluminum for you, didn't you?
Yeah, it's 1-inch tubed aluminum we made.
Yeah.
We made the actual arm, but then the bracket that goes to the tree is kind of a really cool bracket. And I take a 3/4 inch bolt and took the tip off of a screw and step. The old good ones, the ones that you can just kind of touch it and it'll go into the tree itself. It'll just do it itself. So we cut those off and then took it to a machine shop and had them welded on there.
Nice.
And that's how I lock it on there with a big bolt. Big nut. When the trees are really hard, like a pin oak tree, it's hard as heck. Your hands are strong, but they're not that strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it, Nate will catch this, I'll show you the picture afterwards. Does it allow you to film through a tree?
Is it an inch in diameter tree or what?
No, I'll show you the picture when we get done. I just sent this to you guys.
Did you try to film to a tree?
I told
no
him
way.
I told him when we get famous, I'm releasing these pictures to the public because they showed up on my Facebook. A mutual friend of ours shared them, and he did a photo shoot with a guy, and it was Very interesting.
Oh, no. Oh, I remember now. Oh, no.
I got to show you the picture I'm talking about.
I'm anxious now. I gotta see
filming through a
I
tree.
see this.
Yeah.
Filming through a tree. Yeah. I mean,
I didn't know you could do it. I didn't know it could be done. But what is the favorite hunt that you've filmed either before you were with Midwest, while you were with Midwest? What one stands out and why? Was it like great video? Was it the deer?
Well, you really put me on the spot, right? Probably one of the most memorable hunts filming was seriously my daughter, who's 30 now. Her first deer we didn't get on film, but her second deer, which was a really nice buck, and I hit record, and it was cold. And snow was 10 inches deep. I mean, it was freezing cold, and she shot this buck with my muzzleloader to like 150 yards, and 10 ringed him.
Yeah.
And battery went dead on the camera. And it was a great hunt, but the camera was there, so it was kind of one of those things.
Get the shot or no?
No, the camera went dead. Oh. Yeah, it was dead. I was more focused. It was so cold.
Yeah.
If I would have known that the deer was going to come out when it did, I would have had my other camera, on my inside pocket, close to my belly or by hand warmer, keep it warmer. But it was so cold. Boy, that's a tough one. You're asking me about that. Which one is the?
Surely one of them stands out.
Oh, there's several. Does it have to be a buck or a doe?
Oh,
seriously, man, one of the best ones ever is does coming through the woods. Me and Jim sitting there on the ground in the wide open muzzleloader season, freezing cold, and these deer come up within like, I don't know, video I could tell better. It was like maybe 27 yards or something like that, just walking right to us and didn't have a clue we were there. And I mean, we were moving. And I guess it was just cold. They were more worried about just getting out to the cornfield. And I shot her right square in the chest. And when she fell back, sound like on my first video, when she fell back, when she hit, it was like a geyser. The heat, the steam coming out, and it was like, and you could see like some other fluids come out. It was like,
right.
It was like, wow, that was cool. I mean, things like that is what big bucks on. I mean, I killed a ton of big bucks on camera, because that's the hardest thing to do. But
right.
That was probably that. And some of my turkey hunts were pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he smashes some turkeys.
Oh, I was getting ready to ask you film turkey hunts too. So Midwest.
Hard.
Ever have any?
Yeah, we did Spring Thunder back in the day. That was really how Spring Thunder. Now it's
was that through Realtree?
No,
or that was Midwest thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started that. That was one of Aaron's things, and Zach's and all those guys when we were there. And Greg Clements was still one of the lead producers. Greg's a super nice guy, and actually his wife Mindy was one of the producers as well. And so we started a thing that was a partnership with Cabela's, and it was Cabela's Spring Thunder. It was one of the unreal intro to into the show. It was an online show, but it was great because it was like what it should be. It was just kind of, I want to say other things right now, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And we did that, and we just slammed turkeys. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, things happen, and Cabela's, it spins off, so we don't have Cabela's Spring Thunder anymore. And then now it's Spring Thunder still there, but it's, it's out there now,
Yeah.
But it was a good experience.
Yeah. So do you do any bow hunting turkeys?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Mostly, or
no. I mean, only in Nebraska.
Okay.
In Kansas out that way. And we went to West Texas and bow hunt / shotgun hunt / whatever. We went to an outfit. It's the only outfitter I've ever been to my bear hunt.
Yeah.
Out in West Texas, we drove like 17 hours. Like at Lawton, we had to go through Lawton, wherever, Oklahoma and some stuff like that. We ended up on some river basin to where the guy said there's tons of turkeys, and we didn't. It wasn't
Rios, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were Rios.
Yeah.
And he wasn't an outfitter, but he was a guy that had like 10 square miles, like continuous miles, 10 miles by 10, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he charged us, like $450 for the week, and he put us up. And then it was like another $100 charge he fed us one meal a day, which was great.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like only 12 miles out of town, but he had sent us pictures of these turkeys on, back and forth, emailing and stuff. And then we drive all the way out. There's like 6 of us, a guy drive out there. I took my wife's Tahoe, loaded up a trailer, and we drove all night. And it was nothing but jakes. Nothing but jakes.
No
they were
kidding.
pretty, Rio jakes. And then the other thing was in Texas, it's illegal. I know they bait, right? But last time I checked, it's illegal to put a food dispenser on the back of a pickup truck right before you go out hunting, and then to go around the edge of the field, and we're like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're in Texas. I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So we did not hunt over any corn. I mean, just we did not hunt over the corn because it was like really
Statute
weird.
of limitations is probably up anyway.
Right. It was just really weird.
Yeah.
It was just really weird because it was like that. And then when we got back, we were like, all those strutting birds are jakes, and there was hundreds of them.
No
everywhere.
kidding.
But apparently,
where are all the toms?
the year before, he went into this talking to us about it. And he's like, yeah, like the year before and the year before that, there was a bad flood in that river basin area, and they said that there was turkeys just were stranded on these little islands, and they're a big bird, they can't fly that far, and a lot of them perished.
No
And that's
kidding.
what he said. So that's why the population was just so overrun with jakes. But that was only in West Texas. But the bow hunting was in Nebraska back in the heyday, and people don't really understand what bow hunting turkeys is like until you go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
It was something.
Spot and stock? You setting up on them?
Both. Set in a cedar tree. I've shot one out of a cedar tree and just smoked it. Came right up to you, and they don't even see you drawing. Cedar trees are my favorite tree in the world.
Really?
They don't ever see
It's
you drawing.
so hard to kill a turkey out of a tree.
Yeah. No, sitting at the base of a cedar tree.
Yeah, okay.
Just kind of weave yourself back in there,
Uh-huh.
and they don't even see it coming. They don't see you drawing. They don't see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've shot several of them like that. But bow hunting turkeys, I've shot them from me to you, and got the videos to. Yeah, I'll show you the videos.
Right.
It's pretty cool. I mean,
cool.
they come in and flog the decoy right in front of you, and it's just crazy.
It seems like once they get locked in on that decoy, if they're coming in like that, you can get away with it.
Yeah, because I mean, inside the blind, it's all black. They're seeing that black hole. You stand inside of a pole barn, and the sun's out there. You can't.
You can't see it.
You can't see what's going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
Yeah,
And
that cedar tree thing I saw. This has been, I don't know, 10 years ago now, probably. Yeah, close to 10 years ago now. I think it was it Jeff Danker used to be on Major League Bowhunter?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Still is,
I think so.
yeah.
His boy's on there now, maybe. Is it Jeff, the old man?
He's the older guy.
Okay,
He's probably my age.
he's
a little bit older than me.
Well, I mean, it's him and his son is also,
Okay.
but I can't remember his name. Anyway, I saw a setup that he had out on one of his farms in Oklahoma at the bottom of a cedar tree, and he basically cut some limbs and made a blind out of it. And I was like, man, that looks awesome. Like, if I ever had the setup to do it, I would do that. But yeah, I mean,
It's pretty wild.
heck of a natural blind.
Yeah, the deer I shot this year, buck I shot last year. I was, what did I say? I walked up to the cedar tree and took my camera bag off my arm and I set it on the sand, and I was only maybe 6 feet up, maybe, and every deer that walked by didn't have a clue I was there.
Yeah.
Didn't have a clue.
Those cedars at the cabin will be close to big enough for that one of these days, but we could almost sit underneath of them now, probably.
How big are they?
They got to be like 15 feet tall now, probably.
Oh,
At the
they're
base.
big enough.
Yeah, they're getting that. They're getting big enough.
I
I
wouldn't
planted them, not.
So, softball, volleyball size at the base.
Yeah, probably.
put a ladder stand in there. One
Big
section
enough,
of it.
big
Just lean
enough
up in
for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Thing,
What are you saying, Nate?
you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So lots of turkey hunting, lots of deer hunting, both filming, obviously.
Yeah.
You're still going to film this year? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna, give it my all. And
so do you think even like if there comes a day where you stop filming for somebody, will you still film after that just because you enjoy it so much? Will you take a break from it? Do you think?
oh yeah, even if I, things like everybody parts ways
Yeah.
at some point in time, I'm still gonna film. I'll film until I quit hunting. I
Yeah.
mean, if I can, unless it gets really annoying and it's just, I'll definitely switch up my camera to a DSLR, something like that, smaller, something that I can throw in my little pouch of my sweatshirt.
Right.
Hope it
As long as
doesn't fall out,
doesn't fall out.
Yeah.
That's cool. I figured since you started doing that anyway, before you got into it, it's probably something you're pretty passionate about. Sounds like it anyway.
And I'll tell you guys, it was a lot of fun doing it. A lot of fun, kind of like on the Bill Winke aspect of things. It was a lot of fun when we were just doing it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think about the big picture, and it's like almost every kill we had for probably 10 or 11 years leading up to that everything was on video, and it was really easy for us to hunt together. But when you're doing it for a show like that you've got to have cutaways, you've got to have this. You can't fake it either. You can't go out there one day and shoot it when there's 45 degrees and overcast, and then go out there the next day and try to. Today it's 30 degrees and sunny.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
No.
Or having go back and remake it. You know, if you got to make sure your beard is the same length as it was the day before, you know, or 3 days before, you know, because that'll give it away.
Oh,
I've seen that. I'm like,
yep,
that's not the same top hat, bud. It's not. Your beard isn't as thick as it was the other day, or it's thicker the other day. It's like,
right. I wonder if, and I'm sure a good amount of people do, but how many people notice that stuff versus people that film? You know, because you're kind of like, you're probably a little more in tune to that once you start filming. Right?
We were talking maybe in the OR briefly in the past. I can't stand it when I see, and I hope you don't do it. I can't when I see people have their stands and their sticks and all that stuff set up, but they got the manufacturing label on it. Mm-hmm. I just want to smack them. I mean, harnesses with the flop and the stuff, and it's like, oh, these are a lot of big name guys on TV. It's like, just do things differently. Place yourself a little bit. So I notice stupid things that I shouldn't notice, but it drives me crazy. But most people just get annoyed if I say something.
Yeah. If you guys are looking for your own piece of ground to manage and hunt, Rodney Hawkins is the guy you need to talk to. He grew up hunting and fishing in Southern Illinois, and he's now putting that love for the outdoors into selling recreational properties as a land specialist with Midwest Farm and Land. Midwest Farm and Land isn't your average real estate company. They do residential properties, but they also do a ton of recreational property sales as well. Rodney himself sold over $7 million worth of properties last year alone. They've got agents like him all over Illinois, so they're really a local company with a national reach. For more info on them, what might be available, or even getting your property listed if you're looking to get rid of one and maybe get into something else, you can contact Rodney directly at 618-925-3153, and he'll get you taken care of. He's also got his own company called RHO Outdoors that currently has products from Radix Hunting, Tactacam trail cameras, Camo Dust, and he's adding new stuff all the time. So if you're interested in any of that, go over to their Facebook page, RHO Outdoors. Email them at rhoutdoors@yahoo.com. Or again, just call Rodney directly at 618-925-3153. Probably not a lot of people notice that kind of stuff, but definitely once you start.
You should.
Yeah.
Now you'll never forget it. Now you'll look at it. You're hoping right now you don't have it on your.
Everybody listen to that will notice now. If we are, we'll get comments. We're like, hey.
I'm going to start putting, I'm going to call them Eddie stickers.
Yeah.
I don't know, put them places and see if you can spot them.
Yeah, little Easter eggs in our episodes.
You know, it's kind of the same thing as the, going through the woods and seeing the orange markers. Is like, do you have to make it that big? I mean, can you not just be discreet about it to where, the easiest thing to do is, anybody who works for the road department, those little reflective tapes? Mm-hmm. Just tear a little piece, it tears. And walk up to a tree in the bark and just stick it in certain little spots if you're in an area where you really don't know where you're going.
Right.
Most of the spots I do, I don't like to wear a headlamp. I'll wear one just in case I fall or something like that, but I don't like wearing a headlamp in. I just don't really like it, and I don't like the red light. And the green lights aren't really readily available unless you want to buy them online all the time. But the reflection tape, if I get turned around, that's when I'll hold my headlamp or something. I'll hold my hand, and I'll just real quick, and I got to go that way, because it's easy to get turned around. Even as, experiences collectively in this room, the experience is like still yet, it's a lot. Yeah. You can get turned around.
Especially in the dark. And if you're in somewhere thick, like.
Yeah, and you can be like most guys, though, just go out when it gets daylight, or pink light, and then they're telling everybody it's dark, and it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you I guess we got a camera, so you got to go in early to get set up, I guess, but. Mm-hmm. Even if you didn't have the camera, are you more of like get in really early, or you like getting in just in time?
Get in early.
You want to get in early?
I like to sit there in the tree when it's dark. I just have this weird, because it's if I get to the hunt, it happens to me too, just like everybody else. You get in there late. If I'm 10 minutes away, you're looking, I'm looking in the west. Most of the time when I'm driving, because I'm driving west and it's dark, it's black. But all you gotta do is look in that rearview mirror, and you see that light coming up, that gray, and it's like starting to get daylight, and it's like, then I start getting really anxious, and then really I think I'm sweating already,
right?
Because then that's when you forget your release. That's when you forget your camera plate. You forget everything because you're in such a darn hurry. You get in there, and it's like you forget your water. You're anything, and that's when I hate being rushed when I'm going like that. I like to just. And I'm a gear nut. I'm a gear weirdo. I like to have all the cool stuff, and because if you feel good, you're going to do good. That's my opinion. I believe that.
Yep, I do. I think the same way. Always growing up, I had to have matching camo because I was like, even if I'm not going to kill something, I want to look.
I'm still
the deer
the same
doesn't
way.
care, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I like to use what I like
Yeah.
I just like to use what I like, what makes me feel, positive and good. I don't want to
boost your confidence.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
time.
talk about that a lot. There's so many guys that are extremely opinionated on certain things. It doesn't seem like they really matter. And it's like, there's so many different great options no matter what you're talking about. Find what works for you, find what you're confident in, and stick with that.
Yep.
Because confidence is going to mean way more than...
It's everything, man.
Yeah.
It's everything.
If you're doubting it at all, when you're on full draw on that buck, that's not when you want to be in doubt of the bow or the arrow or the broadheads or the gear you got or your rangefinder. Like that's not the time to question it.
No, and there's so much stuff you can listen to online that'll just like young. I mean, you're younger, but you're not young. That'll mess with your guys' minds. Is like whether it's cut on contact, double bevel, single bevel. It's like, oh my gosh, when's it ever going to stop? Here's the deal. I've killed big, heavy bucks with freaking an old Blue Jacket arrow that I got when I first started shooting at Matthews.
Yeah.
Best carbon arrow I've ever shot still to this day. And Thunderhead 100s and blow right through them.
Yep.
So I don't care if you shoot it through ballistic gel or into a brick. It's
right.
Does it kill the deer?
Exactly.
It's about accuracy, actually.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I've thought about doing a video on this recently because I still have most of the old broadheads that I've shot in the past and everything. And I've shot at least a representative of all the different types of fixed blades, 2 blades, 3 blades, 4 blades in some cases, cut on contact, like even the expandables, 2 blade, 3 blade, rear deploying, whatever, with the bands, with the mechanics in them, and I've killed deer with all of them, and I've lost deer with all of them, and I literally mean that. With every one of those broadheads I've used, I've lost something with them, and I've killed something with them, and I'm thinking about doing a video on it just because I still have the broken arrows and the broadheads that are broken, some of them that made it through that I killed deer with, and just being like, find what works for you and freaking shoot it.
It's true. I've messed up on deer with seriously. I mean, you might go there again. Down on a refuge hunt in Union County, I shot a 167-inch just nut of a deer. I didn't get it because I was using those Muzzy MX4s, and I was just determined I was going to use the 4-blade Muzzies because I read an article and it got stuck in my head that I had to use those. Even though I've killed several deer with a Muzzy 3-blade, I've killed them with the Nap? Spitfires. Yeah. I've shot, the Rage, all that stuff, and I just had to do it. And I knew that I was accurate, but then I was just like, every arrow wasn't tuned. Every single arrow wasn't tuned, and I can't tell you what arrow I pulled out of there.
Right.
And I shot that sucker high in the shoulder. I mean, it was a kill shot, but the guy that on a refuge hunt, you don't know where you got to stay in your stand for a little while if you're smart.
Yeah.
And he walked off. I knew he was hit hard. I mean, he just pile drives in the ground, and the guy that was like 100 yards away, shot him. Far enough away, I didn't hear the shot. And I didn't know it until the third day of the hunt. I mean, I looked that whole day for that deer. And it was on the last day of the hunt. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday hunt. The guy told me, did you shoot that big buck the other day? And I'm like, yeah, I shot one, but I couldn't find him. He's like, well, the guy over there did. He killed it. He killed a big 8-pointer too. Because you had 2 tags in your pocket. You can kill him. Yeah.
Man.
It's crazy.
Wow.
But that was the last time I shot a fixed blade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like fixed blades, but for me, just mentally, I'm like, dude,
you keep going back to that place.
all the time.
Yep.
All the time. I shoot both eyes open. I've shot one of the biggest 8-pointers I shot. I mean, he's like 146. I mean, 8-pointer is 146, pretty big. Big old wide deer. His right side was messed up a little bit. His left side was real big, but his right side was kind of, main beam was a little bit shorter. And his 4 on the right side was maybe 1.5 inches shorter than the other one. Or he'd have been over 150 maybe. I shot him right in the side of the face, self-filming, both eyes open. It's the one I shot. It's the one that's actually on the video that we sent to Bill.
Okay.
It's called, the Eddie Teague deer hunting thing.
That's on YouTube somewhere still?
Yeah, it's on YouTube still. I had a lot of views, actually. I mean, it's actually pretty cool.
That's what I was going to say earlier, not to derail you, but at that time, there probably wasn't a ton of hunting content on YouTube.
No, I know. If I would have only thought back then.
Right.
I mean, we were the pioneers before we were pioneers.
Yeah, right.
And I literally, and I still can't to this day tell you what happened. I mean, I was in a Millennium stand. It was on the lease that I was on with 3 other guys. And I didn't hang stand. It was a terrible, terrible tree. It was leaning. I was like, climbing. And I was younger then. I was probably 40-ish, still, fit,
Right.
And I didn't wear a safety harness until I got in the tree. I didn't use a lifeline. It was like a death-defying act It's like climbing into a helicopter, you know, on a line, and you know,
while it's in the
1,000 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And getting on that thing, I was like, my God, it was scary to get in the stand. But once I was in there, I wasn't leaving.
Right.
I mean, I was staying.
Right there.
Not until I was completely all warmed up.
Yep.
And this joker came in, and he was about 100 yards away across the woods because I was in the bottom, and grounded him. And he comes on a beeline right to my tree. And I mean, I'm full draw the whole 9 yards. And I mean, I thought I had the camera on him. I got the camera on top of his rack, but I had both eyes open because I shoot right-handed, but I'm left-eye dominant. Okay. I'm a weirdo. So I have to shoot both eyes open. I have to. I just can't. I've trained my eye to, because I can't shoot left-handed. Right. It's a weird thing. And I'm at full draw, and he's looking right at, I mean, right at the wrong time. He looks right up at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I'm like, I got the pin on his side, and I mean, I smack him with a 2-blade rage right below the eye. I mean, it cut him open. I'll show you. I got the pictures in the video when I did shoot him with my muzzleloader. I got in and went into my recovery.
Oh, you got him.
Oh yeah, I turned him, not on a bow. I mean, I shot him a week later. That was the Friday before. That was the week before gun season Friday, and I shot him on the Friday of gun season that same year. And he comes walking out, and I'm like, I see this big old spot in the side of his face, and I'm like, myself and Jim's filming, and I'm like, I wasn't going to tell him. I'm like, looks like same deer I shot. Yeah. I mean, and it was. Yeah. I mean, and I was like, he looked at me, and I shot him, and he went and he ran like, you know, 1,000 yards across the field. Mm-hmm. Found him 2 days later with my dog. We went into my yellow lab and did switchbacks, and we couldn't find that deer to save our life. Okay. He went a long way, and then when I lifted his head up, I'm like, holy crap. I don't think he would have survived. Yeah. I mean, it didn't get into his eye socket, but it was, I mean, his whole side of his face down the corner of his mouth was just ripped open, and it was brutal. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that was kind of a crazy hunt, but had to go back to the drawing board then and really focus on what I was doing. Cause I mean, what I think is my left eye took over. Oh, and when I'm drawing, yeah. I mean, and I think my left eye and whenever he raised his head up, I think I went like, lost my focus and I shot him right in the face. Yeah. Terrible.
Will you still shoot with both eyes open?
All the time.
Yeah.
Can't do it without it. Okay. I just can't close my eye like that.
Right.
And I also get to see my arrow fly better.
Yeah.
Because you can really see it. Yeah.
So I'll shoot guns both eyes open, but I shoot my bow with one eye closed. Yeah. I've tried both eyes open. I don't know. And I'm not cross-eye dominant like you are. Mm-hmm. That's got to be.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do this the whole trick.
When did you figure that out? Like early on?
No, it was probably when I was like early 20s or something like that. Just jaw jacking at the hospital and stuff. I mean, and people are like, "Go take your thumb and put on the clock in the wall," and I'm like, "Whatever, dude." Right. And I'm like, "Wow, it did move," and I'm like, "I'm left eye dominant," and I mean, and I never.
Had you been shooting with your right eye before that?
Yeah, I'd always close my eye. I'd always close my eye. My accuracy was just way off. I mean, I just couldn't. When I'm at full draw, I don't know. I just can't. Close it. I feel like I'm closing everything in. It's like low light every shot. Yeah. And then I just have to I just train myself to shoot with both eyes open to stay away from that. So makes sense. Works. Yeah.
You shoot with both eyes open? Mm-hmm. You do?
Makes me angry most of the time because I see my arrow sometimes if it's not tuned to go like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get deep into tuning and stuff like that?
I'll try to, but today's technology with all the stuff, I mean, I got away from it for a number of years just because time and you know, on my work schedule, just everything. It's like, you know, and then I used to have a really, really good bow shop that can go in there and the guys would just fix it up right away, you know, kind of get me at least halfway tuned. And then I just had more time to shoot, it seemed like then. And that times went away. Yeah. I mean, I shoot a lot now, but and then maybe, Nate, you're probably too young. Like most guys, I mean, there for a long time, we were all like, you know, tech junkies, you know, without having all the computer assisted stuff, you know, like talking about it. And then there was like maybe a 15-year window where nobody wanted to do their own bows. I mean, and everybody just kind of got away from it. And now it's kind of like I really, you know, I know more than 95 and 98% of the people in the bow shops. And it's like, oh my gosh. And there's so much stuff out there. If you don't understand, you can get online and look at it.
Yeah, there is.
You know, the MFJJ guy from that elk shape out there. Yeah. That dude's really good.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't guess so.
He has the Mohawk.
Ooh.
Podium archery.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's MFJJ. He's pretty good. He's actually really good. Yeah. He breaks it down in a common sense way of explaining it.
Yeah, because I'm like, well.
Yeah, I'm like third axis. What?
You're right.
I don't need that in the whitetail woods. Yeah, you do. Yeah. If you're up here,
right?
I mean, you're shooting downhill in a ravine or something. Yeah. Yeah. It'd come into play.
Hey, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in for another episode. If you don't already, go over to Instagram and Facebook and give us a follow at Ridge Hunter Outdoors. We also have a private Facebook group called Ridge Hunter Nation where you guys can have some input on the show. You can ask us questions. You can ask upcoming guests questions. You can tell us who you want us to have on and what you want us to talk about. And on top of all that, just use it as a regular hunting group. Share your stories, your success, pictures, your failures, whatever it is. That's all at Ridge Hunter Nation on Facebook. Our website is ridgehunteroutdoors.com. That's where you're going to find more info on the consulting and management services that we provide. We also have the podcast posted on the website with some other content as well. And we have our merchandise and our food plot seed. And if you find any of that stuff that you want, make sure you use the discount code RHO pod. That's all caps, no space. And you get 10% off your entire order there. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere else that lets you do so, make sure you rate and review. That helps us, and give us a follow there too. YouTube, our channel is Ridge Hunter Outdoors. You can subscribe to that, hit the notification bell so you know when everything comes out. The podcast will be posted there, as is our Fall Pursuit show, which we'll have more of coming up next season. You guys can go back and rewatch everything. And, of course, we'll have all our off-season content on YouTube as well. So thanks to everybody who already does follow and subscribe. If you don't, make sure you go do that. Now let's get back to the episode.
You were talking the other day about that kid that you were talking to. Who's really into fine-tuning stuff.
Oh, gosh.
He's going out west on his own and everything.
Yeah. Oh, he goes out a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. All by himself. 23 years old.
Wow. That's he's going out for elk hunting, I guess.
By himself.
Yeah.
Like 8 miles deep.
Oof.
Oh, he's a baller.
What part of, where's he at?
Southwest Colorado.
South. Okay, so he's not in grizzly bear country then necessarily.
No.
That's good.
He didn't even take a sidearm.
Really?
No sidearm.
I'm like, do that.
Yeah, no way.
They still got mountain lions. Black bears.
They have people?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there's people out there.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's the only reason. I mean, I don't take I never take a sidearm to the stand ever.
Right.
Because it's just like, here in the Midwest. But the only thing that scares me is people.
Yeah.
Meth heads everywhere out there.
Yeah, that's no doubt where we're at. Especially part of the reason I took one with me when I went to Arizona is because you hear all these horror stories about people stumbling across like illegals and stuff.
Yeah, you ever watch Criminal Minds?
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, no thanks.
No, I know.
I'm not going to be part of that.
Yeah.
If they're killing me, they're going to kill me with a gun on me.
Come on, man. They're undocumented.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
There's going to be one story, and it's going to be mine.
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully. There's only going to be one story.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway.
It is crazy.
Yeah. That's wild. 23 years old, 8 miles deep for what's he gonna do when he shoots one? Pack it out for 3 days?
He's already got it planned out, man. I mean, this kid is sharp as a tack. He really is. I mean, it's made me feel less of a person because he's. I mean, not really, but he's that good of a kid. And I won't say his name respectfully, but I mean, his first name is Drake, and he's just a good kid. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the way he was doing the backup tuning. I mean, a lot of the little weird things he was doing. I'm like, dude. And then taking care of his elk if he gets one. The video, his dad and him flew out on a father-son trip, and he went in like 7 miles deep where nobody else goes, and he has video of like hundreds of elk in this basin. Man. And I'm like, could you have got on? He goes, oh yeah, easily, because I mean they were right there, and there was nobody else in there, So he's got it all planned out how he's going to get it out, and taking these. I don't even know what a contractor bag is, but he's going to debone it, put it in the creek, let it cool down, do all the stuff. He's got all the stuff, and it's like, okay, buddy, by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of work.
A lot of work.
How far did you say he was prepared to shoot?
70 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he shoots farther than that.
Oh, yeah.
But he can shoot 70 yards.
A lot of those Western guys are.
And he's using like a 2-blade single bevel.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
Yeah. Right.
No, I mean, and when I go elk hunting, I will. I mean, I'm still going to do that, but I shoot 70 yards all the time at home, but
right.
I don't know if I'll shoot at an elk, but the target is a lot bigger.
You got a lot more vitals there.
A lot more.
So,
a lot more.
From what I've heard, you split a deer into thirds, you split an elk into halves. So, like front half, back half vitals. A deer, you got front third, middle third, back third, right?
Yeah, I would assume. I mean, the deer, what is your shot process on a whitetail? I mean, it's like just hit it in the bread basket, really.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really break it down like that? Do you break it down like that?
Tie it on the shoulder.
Yeah. And now the big thing is the inverted V.
Vital V.
Vital V. Everybody's talking about, like, dude, it's called behind the shoulder.
Exactly. It's the new hot thing.
That's where it's always been.
Somebody's just rebranded it.
I know.
Yeah.
And probably make a shirt. And if I'd made a shirt about catching deers a long time ago, sound like a dork, I would have made a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who'd have thought of that, catching deers? I got a guy I went to school with that still says deers. He goes, you deers hunter? I'm like, what? Yeah.
I don't hunt deers, dude.
Yeah.
Didn't go 20 has been said around here
A few times.
What, deers?
Didn't go 20. That's their other.
That's the same guy, catching deers guy. Yeah. Didn't go 20.
That has been said.
There's so many things like that, though, and it's all... But
Bull?
that's just like...
Baloney?
Yeah.
But they can sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
Just like you were talking about with there's so much good information out there. Problem is there's so much bad information.
Terrible
out there,
information.
It's
Terrible.
And people are not smart
People
enough
listen
to
to this.
differentiate.
Yeah. People listen to this podcast and hear me talk to me. Who the hell is that guy? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the real problem is that guys get in there and they're real malleable, or they're like first starting out, and then maybe they got that personality where they do get really entrenched into it, and then it's like, man, you got to do it this way, or you're an idiot. And it's like, well, I don't know where you got your information from, but it wasn't good.
You got to shoot that Muzzy 4-blade.
You click. Yeah, exactly. But I read that.
Correct.
In my defense, I read that. I think North American Whitetail or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But all the kids on YouTube now, as soon as you click it, you're a follower.
Yeah.
Literally, that's why it's called followers. I mean, because you're following. It's like, I mean, I watch I'm a big 49er fan. I mean, I watch the live press conference every day so I can see what they're saying, live. I'm not watching some video they put out to tell you what to think,
Right.
But I mean, I've been known to get caught up in that stuff every now and then.
I think everybody has.
Yeah.
It does for sure. You just got to, again, if it works for you, go for it.
I know.
But at the same time, one thing that gets me is if it works for you, it doesn't mean it works for everybody else. It doesn't have to.
Nope. Shouldn't. There's guys that want to get out there after daylight and deer hunt, and they're successful as all get out. All the old timers. You talk to some of the old guys, they don't turkey hunt in the morning. They go out there, 8 o'clock whenever the gobblers are down. They finish with their hens and they're off looking for something else, and they kill turkeys like crazy.
Yeah.
Me, I'd rather hunt the whole time.
Right.
I take a nap.
That chance.
I take a nap.
Yeah, exactly. I do I like a roost hunt. If it's hard to beat, unless you got cows around your decoys.
That's true.
That has ruined a hunt.
Yeah.
The cows all the time.
Yeah.
But the only thing about a roost hunt is that's exactly what it is, and it's like the one boom down over.
Yeah.
It's like,
and if you don't, if they fly down, and they got hens somewhere else,
you're stuck for a long time.
Yeah. Then you're there till
it's still over.
And then as soon as you bird dog around, you look and you look and you look and you look, and there's nothing around. Mm-hmm. You start getting your stuff. There's a Jake right there.
Yep.
He walked all the way up from Texas.
Yeah.
He did, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it ruins the whole thing.
It does.
Yep. So most of your hunting over the years in Illinois then?
Yeah, the majority of it.
Yeah.
I used to hunt up in northeast Missouri for about 10 years up there. Mm-hmm. I had a friend of mine that had a big farm up there. A little warm in here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, getting there. And we hunted up there for years. I never was able to, capitalize and take a big buck up there, but it was right on the southern border of Iowa. I mean, 30 miles southeast Iowa.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that was up there on the hunting trip, they scored on some big ones, but I shot a doe almost every single year. We just eat it in camp, and I learned that you had to eat it in camp because one time I brought one, the meat back, and I was going to have my buddy cut it up into, just for jerky and grind it up. And he's like, I can't do that. I was like, we all know the game laws, but then you don't really look at it and think like, what the heck, So
right.
Yeah. Let's process it up there now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've been going almost getting close to an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. You got anything else?
It doesn't even seem like an hour and a half. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's pretty easy to talk.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, this is fun.
That's why and I appreciate the shows that do that too. Some of them have it's not a script, but they have certain points they want to hit and markers or whatever. I just would rather just go wherever we want to go. I don't put any limits on them.
That is the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Then we can talk about whatever we want.
Right. There's a lot of good questions you have to. I mean, just the fun stuff and things like that. But
if you want to talk about undocumented people in Arizona, we can.
Yeah, exactly. It's freedom of speech, baby.
That's right.
Did you see
America.
We're going to get off on a little bit of diatribe here, but did you see the interview with Elon Musk and that MSNBC reporter where he goes, well, do you think you're he didn't say this, but I'm saying the same thing, gaslighting all these people. And he's like, no, I don't really think so. In Elon tone. And then he's like, you have to look at it. Don't quote me on it. And he's like, so what do you think? Do you think you're really offending people? And he goes, and he stands there. You saw the video, like a 20-second delay. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I don't care. I was like,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. So it was great.
We need more of that.
Oh, big time.
Definitely
big time.
do.
Did you see the RFK Jr. Speech?
I did. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, I agree with him. Everybody doesn't agree on a lot of things that he does. I mean,
Right.
Of course not. But
If you agree with everything someone does,
you're wrong.
yeah, something's wrong with you.
You're a follower. Might as well click it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Might as well click it. I know it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you can sit and talk all night. We can solve all the world's problems. Really.
We have before.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. It's too bad. The Pelosi's of the world and stuff like that didn't want to come here and sit and talk. You know,
I know we
like
could have
that.
solved a lot of problems. I've talked about it different times, even on like Illinois out IDNR, like political issues with that. Like if we just get someone to talk to, just talking.
They won't talk to you though.
No, that's
the problem. That's the problem. Just like some of the game laws, it's like everybody breaks the law. I don't make a habit of it. I drive 80 mile an hour down the highway.
Right.
But, I mean, somebody's going to give me a ticket tonight for saying that, but I mean, I'm kidding. But
Right.
there's all kinds of laws. It's like, there's certain things that you can play, the plausible deniability, act like you're aloof to it. Those people get away with it, and it's like they're really the ones that are not, stupid. They know what they're doing and they just act like they get away and pull some
Yeah.
baloney, bullcrap of a story,
Right.
and get away with it. But the legislators, they don't care, man. They don't care. They don't care about EHD. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't give a crap. I mean, I would be an advocate really for here in Illinois. You guys might not like it, but I wouldn't mind seeing a $1 state for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Just for a while, see what it does.
Yeah.
And you're still going to sell the permits,
Yeah.
but we're going to have a heck of a lot more deer.
Right.
Yeah. At least buck. Then you got to kill at least a doe to get your second buck tag. Something.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, that's how it was at Burning Star 5. And I mean, the rule, I mean, I don't know if it is the same rule now, but used to you had to kill a doe, tag it. How many people went into Walmart and bought their, combo tag and then called in the doe and it's like, boom, done.
Yeah.
This used to be a check station years ago.
Yeah. That little metal building around back was.
I still wish we had check stations.
I loved
it.
That would help a lot of that.
I remember being a kid talking about things that got me into hunting. When you start talking about things come back, my mom and stepdad got a divorce when I was in high school and where I lived on the farm. So I had to move away. So it was little different things that happened for a period of time. And I'd go to the laundromat there in Murfreesboro and the person across the street had this big, concrete fence. And me and a couple guys, we'd sit there. We were perfectly high enough to see all the trucks. When we saw orange and we'd see all the big deer, whether it was a doe or a buck, it didn't matter. We could stand up, we could see them going by because it was on Walnut Street. 14th Street was real slow. So we can see the deer in the back of the truck. And it was just crazy.
Yep.
But we don't see that anymore.
No. One thing that definitely would happen if they had to check stations and you had to shoot a doe for your buck, there wouldn't be any more roadkill. Guys would be scooping those things up on the side of the road like crazy. But I do think that would be a combination of that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's just like one of the guys I trap a lot too. And there's a guy that he was like, man, back when the coons were really good, he goes, I'd pick up every dead coon on the road. And I'm like, I mean, most of them are scratched up or scuffed up, but they didn't care. I mean, those fur markets were really good then, but now,
back then.
I mean, heck, man, they were selling for $20-something a piece.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I know.
When I was a kid, when I first started getting in the outdoors, it was trapping and stuff like that. I didn't know that stuff. I mean, heck, I bought a lot of my other traps just by trapping coons and taking them to the local sale barn on Saturday morning and getting rid of it.
Now they're not no fur is worth anything really.
No. I was a kid, no permit, no license. Those guys, those fur buyers didn't care. They saw me as a little kid selling, give me $5 for a hide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Different world for sure.
Good old days. Yeah. It's fun.
It's fun. World.
I mean, it's all what you make of it. We still have the same thing. You just got to make it better.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But you were talking about the laws and stuff and being so many of them. There's a bunch of them too that it's not even the way they're written is not as black and white as it probably should be either. There's a lot of room for interpretation.
Big time.
And whatever mood the particular law enforcement officer you're dealing with is in that day.
You're exactly right.
Which is unfortunate, but again, the legislators don't care. There's money in it somewhere, and that's about all they care about.
All these people live in these big subdivisions and stuff, and they're feeding you can't bait a deer, which I hate baiting anyway. I mean, I hunted over bait one time, and that was in Canada, bear hunting, and I would challenge anybody to go to Canada and bear hunt without bait.
Without bait, right.
You're never going to kill a bear. The bear's going to be overpopulated. It's going to make it terrible. They're going to start killing people, and it's just terrible. So you have to hunt them over bait. And they specifically like French fry oil. Okay. Yeah, they do. They come to it really good.
Yeah.
But in Illinois, if you live in a subdivision, you can bird feed, and whether that bird feeder has corn in it or whatever have you, and the next thing you know, all the deer in the neighborhood are in your backyard, and you're not feeding the deer, you're feeding the bird.
So that's how all those guys killing these big deer in the cities they're doing it, feeding the birds.
No, these are bird enthusiasts. That's what they are.
Yeah, sure.
My daughter and son-in-law subdivision in southern Illinois has gigantic deer.
Oh, yeah.
Gigantic bucks. I mean, big. And it's like, why are they in that area? Mm-hmm. There's a reason. I mean, nobody kills them.
Exactly.
But still, yet they're in that area because there's food readily available. And I mean, they look like Chubba Wubbas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad.
If I was a deer, I would stay close to a bird feeder.
Yeah. Be a good place to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where no one's shooting at you.
No. Yeah, you eat like a bird. The bird eats, right? Twice its weight in food a day.
Yeah. That's very accurate.
Oh, that's awesome.
You got any ice cream in that bird feeder?
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's as good a place as any for me. You got anything else you want to
No, it's good. This is great, man. Yeah.
I appreciate you driving over.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
A lot different than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Nah, we're pretty laid back.
Yeah.
Easy going.
Yep.
Now it's time to see all those deer you got in there.
Yeah. Let's go look at it.